Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. We have a very interesting session for you today. We're just doing the Hangouts portion
Session's
of
a strong
this.
word.
No, session is a good word. I'm behind you all the way here.
Yeah, I'm going to count this like a session like we do any other session. In fact, we're going to do another dice giveaway just like we would do every week. So I do know that the last time this particular stream aired, we said we were doing a dice giveaway, but the bot failed at that point. And so we're going to be doing 2 dice giveaways the next time.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
But this time, we're still going to do one. So if you're here and you want to win a set of dice of your choice from phoenixdice.com, type in !ticket into the chat. You know the drill, !ticket into the chat. Anybody in the world may enter, especially if your name is Rhonda.
100%.
And if you win, we'll message you, Phoenix Dice will talk to you, and you get to pick one super sweet set of dice of your choice from their website, and they will mail it to you. So, without further ado, I will let Trevor take it away.
Hey, everybody. So, I've produced a lot of things here and there, recorded a bunch of stuff and whatnot. And one of the things that you do when you produce things is there's this little bar bounces when people talk. When more than just you talk. But the bar on Saturday only bounced for me. It did. I forgot to do the right audio plugin, and that was a lovely surprise when I went to go edit it down and only heard my obnoxious voice.
Absolutely wonderful voice. Listen, when Trevor came to us and said so, I think we all know that pain.
Yeah,
I know I do. Oy.
That sucked. So sorry. The good news is we are going to be recording another episode. Obviously, we're not doing one tonight, but we're going to be recording another one. They'll be there for the next time. And I'm going to tell you all this, and the players as well. That is not going to be wasted content. So it's going to be a very interesting episode, and I hope you're there for it because it's going to be fun. And best of all, Rhiannon couldn't be there for that one, and she's going to be there for this one. Yeah. So it's a better. It is the remastered version.
I did not celebrate audibly when I get to be in the episode. After all, I was just that is very sad.
Super sad. Absolutely the worst.
But yeah, so apologies, but we're gonna have a cool and awesome episode for you next time.
Yeah, I think what will be extra interesting for us as players is to see like what stuff is the same that you're gonna throw at us versus like what's gonna be different. And now we have like this fun little bonus content. So if we have fans in the future
of a one-man show.
They can read the captions.
Exactly.
We could do like we were talking about and do like dramatic reenactment reading.
Do a dramatic reading.
We can do ADR of ourselves.
Yes, I love
it.
it.
For 3 hours.
I don't hate that idea though. That sounds hilarious.
So I will definitely for small chunks.
Who do I do?
Yeah.
Am I the person who like
you're every one of my character voices.
Okay.
Maybe we could do it as a charity thing. Maybe we could do it as a thing if viewers really want it and they demand that we release the tapes. We could release the tapes.
Or we release the episode as is. We don't dub, we don't do anything, and people just have to read. You just have to read this game. That's all. It's just a reading game.
Or we put it out as an audio only video, and it's just what a dungeon master sounds like, and that's it.
So what I find interesting about Lauren's idea is because Google Meet, the captioning is like not super precise.
Oh, it would be the Google version.
I would be super curious what people thought happened if they read just the text.
Yeah, you have to read it verbatim. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like at that point that's bad lip reading. What's that?
Bad lip reading.
Yeah, it's bad lip reading theater, except it's ourselves doing our own lip reading of our own thing. See, now we have to do it. Now I need 5 minutes and just give me the video and let me do this. And I want to intentionally do it bad with the Google captions. We'll have to find a spot that includes a lot of D&D words, because I feel like Google it's actually really good it just doesn't pick up on those words.
Yeah, I know there was one video that you sent me that I put captions on for work, and we said Tiamat a lot. Just like a different word for every time.
It could never manage Cecilia when she was like not at all.
I believe
most
that.
Of the other character names it could like sort of it would get there. But not Cecilia.
It's been a hot minute since I've used PubNub, and I know that Google is on and off with my character's name, but let's see what it does with Orkira.
Oh,
see,
what? It got it, I think.
Did it?
I'm watching the delayed. Yeah, it did. Holy crap.
Oh, nice. Look at you.
Because I will half get the real
you're
thing.
So upset right
I'm
now.
so confused. How?
I also said that as though I was on a game show. Show me Orkira. I realized that after the fact.
Oh, I got my
Google gets it half the time, and the other half of the time it would give me okra.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting
we're
okra.
getting some Orkira in the captions.
Yep, there's an Orkra. Yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah. There we go.
It's that hidden R that you got to put into every single dragon name, and then some dragonborns. You just have to hide a second R in there somewhere that's not supposed to be. That's how you end up with a dragon name.
That's actually very true for a lot of the dragonborn I've made.
Yep. It is 100% true for dragons too. If you look at like Forgotten Realms lore dragons, there are just R's in places that you wouldn't expect them.
Themberchad.
me with dragons, like, because the thing, I read really fast, and I learned it through phonics, but like when you start going fast enough, like sometimes with really complicated words, I don't hear them in my mind. I see them on the page, and I just like go with that. And so like some of those dragon names, I'm just like, it's long and it's got kind of a shape because it starts with a tall letter, and then like there's a tall letter in the middle, like, and then I'm just like, yeah, it's the long T with a tall in the middle name.
One of my favorite videos I've seen going around TikTok recently is like neurodivergent people reading fantasy books, and then they walk to the city of where they met their friend.
I mean, like, I'm neurotypical, and I do that. When you're reading fast, you can't be stopping for that
nonsense.
See, the thing that I end up doing is I mispronounce it the first time, and then I'm mispronouncing it for the rest of my life. I cannot fix it once I've mispronounced it, even if I've mispronounced it in my head. That's it. It's mispronounced forever and ever. Amen.
There was a Monster Hunter monster. I just said the wrong thing of forever, knowing that half the letters weren't even there for it.
You know what was amazing to see was I was at NorwestCon over the weekend, which is why I couldn't do the original recording. And so at the Philip K. Dick Awards, they had an ASL interpreter, and I was seated where I could sort of see them. And so I couldn't quite figure out, because I'm like, what does ASL do with weird fantasy names?
Oh,
like, because there's no time to be like finger spelling something that's like 8 letters long or something. And I couldn't quite figure it out. Like, I don't know, like, I know like 2 ASL signs. I couldn't figure out enough of like where in the other stuff that they were doing, but they weren't like doing any sort of like long, series of.
I have this vague memory of hearing that like they'll spell out the first couple of letters, and that's just kind of like an abbreviation for the rest of the talking. But I don't know exactly.
I mean, that would make sense as far as like, because you have to do it like fluidly to keep up with the reading. So
yeah. I helped put together some readings for Clarion West for like at the library or on the internet, and we oftentimes have ASL interpreters, but we'll have 2, and they'll swap off like in between, because like the actual interpreting is so dynamic and it takes so much energy from them, and especially if they're like listening live and trying to like figure out these exotic words and terms.
I think one of them was like learning, because they did swap. Like I think they did about like 75 was one of them, and then 25% was the second one. And the second one, the first one went where the interpreter could see and was like offering, I think, suggestions. So I think so it must have been like a little bit of a break for her to like not have to do the whole thing, but it seemed like she was offering the guy who was doing it some of the signs. So I mean, clearly, like I didn't need all my attention on the readings. I was like listening, and I was also watching like this going on because it was so cool. I'm like, that makes total sense. If you're somebody who has, say, interpreted like at a con before and you know some of the fantasy signs, why not like be like, oh yeah, hey, let me tell you, this is what like orbital mechanics is or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And oftentimes they'll ask for the text ahead of time, or at least one of them will read it ahead of time, and then they'll be like the leader in interpreting, and then that's the person who would
so
advise.
Maybe that was it.
Perhaps, yeah.
I wonder if you, when you become an ASL interpreter, if you also start to specialize in certain not jobs, but like, hey, I'm really good at taking care of fantasy names. I'm really good at taking care of the scientific vernacular. I have a lot of experience in theater work. Because one of the theaters I worked at many years ago when I was in their box office, we had ASL interpreters for one of our shows for each run. And it was the same kind of thing. We had there was a pair that they'd swap out, or occasionally both be on at the same time, depending on what was going on. And yeah, they were, I don't want to say that's what their focus was, because I never really got a chance to ask something that specific, but they certainly were adept at signing for musicals, which has to be a slightly different skill set than like signing for a scientific symposium. Yeah. That was harder to say than I expected.
I'm so happy you bring that up, because the thing that I wanted to really talk about was the signers who sign at like rap concerts.
Oh like yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, we've seen those videos.
I've read about those people. Because the one they were interviewing for the one I was reading was talking about how like in spoken language there are registers of ASL, and so like some of them are like dirtier and more casual. And so that's what they would be using at the rap concert, or the like really dirty comedian stand-up routine or something like that, as opposed to a register that's more formal that you would be using at the, scientific symposium. And I thought, I mean, obviously, but I hadn't thought about it. And I thought that was really cool. Like, so that the dirty ASL register.
Now, is that just, is that like I almost called it a session zero thing. Is that like the kind of thing in where, okay, I'm comfortable signing up to sign a rap concert that has these words, whereas some people are like, no, that's not for me. I wonder if that's like a line and veil in the, in those kinds of jobs.
Well, speaking of D&D and ASL, I actually saw a thing over the weekend that in the D&D movie, Justice Smith actually incorporated ASL into the somatic components for his spells.
Oh, what?
I remember reading about that.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's rad.
Yeah, I believe he said that he does know ASL, and so it wasn't like he did it for that role. He knew that one, and decided to incorporate it into casting the magic, which I think is fan-freaking-tastic. That is so cool.
I'm going to try to drag my parents to it this weekend, so I'll be like Eagle Eye watching for it.
Aw, hopefully you don't have to drag them. Hopefully they're excited. Like, it's gotten enough good press that I'm hoping that, people who normally wouldn't go to those kinds of movies will be like, all right, I'll go. It sounds fun.
Yeah, I linked them a couple like good reviews, and they didn't seem like reluctant. So the big thing was that I cleared it because they don't like gore. And so I'm like, this is like fantasy swordplay. This is not like gritty Game of Thrones gory fest. So yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely like, even leaving the theater, my wife was like, yeah, so like they just kind of ignored blood in that movie. I'm okay with it, but it was kind of a noticeable at times.
I'm all for it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Camera just turns away just in time as someone's getting attacked.
Yeah.
Or this is a thing that doesn't have any blood. Or, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's all sorts of ways you can get around that. Those of us who grew up in the 80s and watched cartoons know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Or the latest John Wick movie. Names are gone.
once we've gone, I have to find that picture. Somebody made a little collar with like Displacer Beast like tentacles for their black cat. I need to find that picture
cool.
because it is the best cat costume in the world. And my mother was like, I don't know what was going on with this cat. And so once she's seen the Displacer Beast, then she'll actually understand.
So,
Yeah.
So if your parents like this movie, will you actually play D&D with them? Will you try to encourage them to like play a game with you? No, okay.
They wouldn't like it. I won't even do escape rooms with them.
Okay.
It's not their personality.
That's fair. That's fair.
Probably good to know that ahead of time, you know.
So before we move
not
on,
that they're. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
oh, I just want to point out a message from one of our chatters.
Okay, good. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, you go for that.
Oh no, you go ahead.
No,
You-
I don't. I can't read well out loud. You do it.
I'm excited because I hope both of you have different messages.
So I just wanted to highlight a message from Anomalous Thracian. They say, when I have an interpreter signing for me at a speaking/presentation thing, I try to get time to run through specific jargon with them beforehand, because I tend to have atypical terms, either obscure academic stuff or drawing from other languages, etc. I'm not ASL fluent, working on it, but I try to give proverbial session zeros to those who are going to be interpreting my chaos. And then they add, they tend to appreciate it, but there isn't always a format/scheduling allowance for it. Yeah, for sure.
That makes
Interesting.
sense.
Thank you for putting that in. That is very interesting.
Yeah. On a related subject, when I get, there's some of the videos that we put up for Idle Champions that not only do we have captions, but we have captions in multiple languages, and we use a service that does the translations. And you can tell it ahead of time, basically list off words that are going to be difficult so that it knows, so that whoever's doing the translations can know. And it's usually proper names, but in D&D there's a lot of things. And so what it asks you is like, all right, tell us what it is, or give us the word and then tell us what it is. And so my lists are always like proper name, spell name, party name. It's just a bunch of names, and then spell, usage of thing. It just gets really weird.
I've recently found out, and hey, I haven't gotten to say this yet on air, so I'll say it now. As the new content designer and writer for Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, I found out that I'm going to be responding to some of those when it comes to dialogue for the game, where they're just gonna respond back and go, "What? What?" Context, and then I have to figure out how to give them context for some D&D thing.
Listen, sometimes it's not even D&D things. We have definitely discovered that there are some common terms and phrases that are in our game that in different languages don't get translated well if there isn't lots of context.
Oh, fascinating.
Things that are innocuous things that just without just a tiny little bit of context and an expert who knows how to do that kind of translations, you end up with words that are not what you mean, and it's bad. So bless interpreters, both ASL and verbal.
Yeah.
Also, Trevor, was that your thing that you were going to pull from chat, or did you have something else?
No, that was the thing. I was going to talk about the AI thing that I was talking about before we went live.
Acquisitions Incorporated or artificial intelligence?
No, artificial intelligence thing.
Okay.
So I'm weary of the AI.
We're gonna do this. All right.
That's where I'm leaving that. But I got access to Google's new one, Bard, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna mess around with it and just see what this is about and yada yada yada. And I couldn't really figure out anything fun to do with it until last night I had it build me a Marvel Snap deck, and it actually did really well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I even said build me a Marvel Snap deck around the mechanic of Destroy. And it almost built my deck exactly as it was, which I thought was funny. There was a few changes that I went, I might try that. But two of the things today, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to be vain. It's an AI, whatever. And so I put in, who writes Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms?
Okay, before you go on, I'm going to say that is not vain, because there's a lot of us who have been doing that with a variety of AI, because we've all been learning about how AI Hallucinate?
And welcome to where we're going.
I mean, it's a polite term for lie, but if they
Yeah.
want to call it hallucinating, that's fine.
So I'm not going to read it in its entirety, but it says, again, this was just out of the blue. I haven't really said anything about that and whatnot. And I just said, who writes for it? Bard said, the writer for Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a team of writers, including Aaron M. Evans, B. Dave Walters, and Trevor Bettis. It then goes into each one of us and what we've done. And unfortunately, B. Dave Walters stole writing The Godcatcher from Aaron. So sorry on that one, Aaron. But apparently she picked up some work in that time because she was also part of the writing team for the Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master Guide, and the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it did nail that I host Idle Insights. Called it a podcast, which I'm okay with. It's a podcast.
I mean,
yeah, it's a video podcast.
Yeah.
A video podcast.
A video podcast. Yeah.
That
but
sounds like something my grandmother would say. It's one of those video podcasts, isn't it? Oh, Grandma.
Oh, that's so good. And yeah, it even got that I was a community manager. So like it got my stuff correct, and it just started lying about Aaron and B. Dave.
So I did a similar thing with ChatGPT, in where I asked it about me and I asked it about Luke, and it got about 50% of me correct, except it thinks I worked on Critical Role in a variety of ways.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I'm a frequent guest on Critical Role and have written on Call of the Netherdeep. And I'm like,
whoa.
Where did you even...
Whoa.
You know how sometimes those hallucination things happen and you're like, okay, I understand why it would think that, if it's pulled some of the wrong information from the wrong place, all right, it's obviously pulling from Champions of Lore information about writing for Idle Champions, and that's why all the three of you, where it got the idea that I have either guested on and or written for Critical Role, no idea. It also said that I'd worked with Wizards of the Coast on some of their books. I'm like, no, not at all. And then for Luke, it talked about how he was like a technical artist for things. Like it got some of his comic stuff right.
Yeah.
But then it was like, and then he's done technical art for these companies. And we're like, what? What are you talking about?
So I did do that first, where I said, tell me about Trevor Bettis. And it came back with, I don't have enough data. And I was like, ouch. Thanks.
It gave me a new book, which
Oh, it
sounds like
did?
an awesome book. Yeah, it gave me a book that doesn't exist.
No, how wild would it be, like, just down the road you name a book that, like, where did it come from?
And like it was maybe like 70% of the way there. It gave me a PhD, which I don't have in biology, which is not what my MA is in. It said I was born and raised in Canada, which is incorrect. I'm a dual citizen, but I was born and raised in the US. Her writing is known for its scientific rigor as well as its exploration of complex ethical and philosophical questions. I mean, that's sort of like nothing, and so you can't really say it's wrong, but I don't know that it's really right.
It's a word salad. It is definitely a word salad.
Yeah. I will say, when I did it for myself and then someone else did it for me as well, and we ended up with two different versions of me from ChatGPT, which did line up with some things. One of the things that it lined up with that I can't actually, that I hope is true, but I can't point to and be like, yes, absolutely, is both of them had a sentence or two about how I am an advocate for diversity in gaming and how I've worked passionately in the community, but it had some very specific language in there. Like it didn't like list off a specific company or anything, but it had very specific language as though like that is one of my jobs as a diversity and inclusion person.
Oh, wow.
And while I am 100% an advocate for diversity in TTRPGs and everything, I would like to think that's true. I haven't done any official work in that. And so I feel like that's a wishful thinking thing.
Mhm.
Like, I want it, and I do stuff to try to be as diverse and inclusive as I can be, but I certainly don't have any credentials in that. And so I don't know why both of them came up that way. I'm
That's
like,
wild.
that's assuming some stuff. I don't know.
So before we got in the call though, I was like, okay, you know what? I got another random thing I'm gonna send Bard. And so I wrote, do you know anything about the hotel at the edge of the multiverse?
Ooh.
And it came back with a novel. And so it starts off by saying, the hotel at the edge of the multiverse is a homebrew one-shot adventure for the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game. It was written by Trevor Sasser.
It was so close.
It was me the whole time, Trevor Sasser, here to sass you all. It is how I spell Trevor.
Oh, okay.
And it was published by the Dungeon Dudes.
Whoa.
It was published.
The adventure is set in a hotel that exists at the edge of the multiverse. And it follows a group of adventurers as they try to solve a mystery of the hotel's disappearance. This thing goes into how many characters and what level it's meant for. That there are 4 parts, each of them named. It then goes into what each of those parts are, says that it's full of puzzles and traps, and then at the bottom, and is a great way to introduce players to the multiverse.
That's a huge compliment.
I know, but here's the thing. It then has 3 quoted reviews.
What?
I know
Can't wait.
Okay, so
all
the
right,
first
wait.
one.
I'm gonna look these up on YouTube. I'm gonna look up your.
Well, so here's the thing, right?
That's where the reviews would be, right? Was if they're pulling up real reviews. They
mentioned Dungeon Dudes a few times on here, and to the point that just before I brought this up, I made sure to go. I'm like, did the Dungeon Dudes make a supplement that was named this? They haven't, which is good. Thank you, because I I'd like to hold on to that.
Real quick before you read off these, are these? Is it referencing the first game that you did, or is it referencing the second game that you did? Because
it's not referencing either of them.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
It is.
Because I was going to pull up both of those and look at the YouTube reviews and be like, because that's the only place you'd be getting reviews, right?
It becomes very obvious it didn't get these reviews from existence. So the first one, the hotel at the edge of the multiverse is a great adventure for players who are looking for a challenge. It is full of puzzles, traps, and encounters that will test players' skills and abilities. The adventure is also full of humor, suspense, and will keep the players engaged through the game. Dungeon Dudes. I think that's really kind of that. I feel like it's a good practice for Dungeon Dudes to be putting a box quote on their own product.
I mean, why not? It's their product is full of humor, and why not? You have your own quote.
I'm actually gonna save the middle one. I'm gonna go to the last one. The last one says, "The hotel at the edge of the multiverse is a great adventure for players who are looking for a fun and challenging game. You can kind of see how there's some repeating things here. The adventure is full of puzzles, traps, and encounters that will keep your players entertained. The characters will need to use their skill and abilities to solve the mystery of the hotel and escape. Nerd anarchy."
Oh.
Hi, Ted. Thank you.
Wow. Big
So,
names.
the hotel at the edge of the multiverse is a great adventure for players who are looking for a unique experience. The hotel is a strange and wonderful place, and the adventure is full of surprises. The characters will need their use their wits and their courage to solve the mystery of the hotel and escape the Adventure Zone. Thank you, McElroys.
Thank you, Travis. Hey. Thank you
So
for playing through this adventure, which was a live Let's Play.
Yeah. You heard those 3 hot reviews right there. Go buy this
3
product
hot
that doesn't
reviews.
exist.
Oh,
Wow,
boy.
that's not just a hallucination. That is wishful
This is
thinking.
a whole backstory.
Holy
Like,
crap.
Mhm.
and it made it like that. Like
So this exists in the multiverse. It's
Does
going
now.
to the wrong
oh
one.
man. So, see again now with the bootstrap paradox thing, like, what if I go and write this, and what if I go write the supplement and I make it into 4 parts and call it the arrival, the investigation, the showdown, and the escape?
and it's full of puzzles and traps, and we need our skills and our courage to solve it.
Yep.
So it's definitely writing this as though this was a written product that you
Yeah.
could purchase, not as
Yeah.
a live play that was okay.
Okay. I'm actually.
Interesting.
I gotta drop, I'm
Yeah.
afraid. Like
It's
It's
okay. We
6:30.
got to get out. I think we have to get out here anyways.
Yes, but I will. Can I just jump in to remind
yeah.
everybody about the giveaway? So right now we are giving away one set of dice from phoenixdice.com. Just drop !ticket into the chat for your chance to win a set of dice of your choice from phoenixdice.com. Anybody in the world may enter. We will ship that dice anywhere. And so after Trevor reads this last bit, and then we do our outros, that's when I'm going to start picking a winner. So go ahead, Trevor.
Well, okay.
Those tickets in now.
Yeah, get those tickets in now.
Call to action.
Where can I buy that product? Is what I'm saying to it.
let's see.
Let's see if it says anything. I'm not programmed to assist with that. Boo! Show me on the multiverse where I can buy my own stuff. I'm coming for you, Trevor Sasser.
Wow.
Trevor Sasser.
That's going to be your new nom de plume when you
It
decide
better be,
to
it better
actually.
be.
Better be.
Yep.
You all better remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So funny.
Is it time to pull the winner? You do it?
Yep. It looks like a bunch of people got their tickets in last
Just
minute.
in time.
I'm going to
Hey, while
close.
we're pulling a winner, by the way, you should go get Ancient Orkira, who's available now in Idle Champions. That's a skin. You know what happens when Orkira spends way too much time on the plane of fire, like thousands of years? That's what you get.
Oh my god. So Lauren, I've always had this question. You played Orkira for so many different
years.
adventures. Yeah, so
Yeah.
many different years. I'm just curious, have you ever done like an Old Man Logan one shot for Akira? Like Akira in her twilight, like what does that look like? What is her final last ride or something?
No, because she's and let me know if you want me to stop so you could pull the winner and everything, because I know people gotta go. But like that's half the thing with the Ancient Orkira skin is because she prays to a god who is currently dead, who is a god of resurrection. Her whole life is a cycle. She's brought back and she keeps going, and part of the thing is she is supposed to be alive and like holding down the fort while the phoenix is dead because it's a phoenix, it comes back. So it's not like there's a twilight years in her future. She just has a agreement with the Raven Queen that when she's ready to finally be done, that the three of them will have a chat. So I've never thought about like an Old Man Logan situation. But
Yeah,
that would be...
like what is that one shot that leads up to that chat? But anyways, we
I'm
can
getting
explore
too
this a
old.
future
I'm
time.
getting too old for this shit.
There's no more marshmallows anywhere. Ow. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the end of the world right there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna draw a winner in 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, M_widow.
Yeah! You got dice.
Yeah, I will message you on Twitch. Yes, that's the name of this site. Oh my god, I need to go. I'll message you. We'll get you that dice set. Congratulations again. So, do you want to start the outros? Maybe I'll start and then I'll popcorn it over to somebody, I guess. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Ying Wang. I'm normally a player here on this channel. This week, we don't have a game for you because tech gremlins are the worst, but we will be back in a couple of weeks with a redo of that episode, which works really oddly well.
It's gonna get wild.
I mean, that episode was a wild episode to begin with. So, yeah, but we'll just see what happens.
It's gonna be completely different.
We'll see about that, because I hope parts of it stay the same. There's like certain scenes that I really, certain situations that I would love to see pop up again. But anyways, I'm going to popcorn it over to Rhiannon.
Hey, I've been Rhiannon Held. Right, urban fantasy is Rhiannon Held, and space opera is RZ Held, and my space opera series is now complete. So if you like that to happen before you start reading, check out the Amsterdam Institute series. Yeah, I will be there in the next episode. So my character has no idea. She's totally in the dark what has happened before, so she will just be stumbling along without the pre-knowledge.
Be fun.
Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren Urban. I'm the content manager over at Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. You can find me on the socials as Oba Lauren. You can find me playing in 2 weeks Orkira, who is a character in Idle Champions, who is a champion in Idle Champions, who is also has a skin out right now, the ancient Orkira skin. She's on fire. Also, I will let all the people here who are in chat in a little secret that I told Trevor about beforehand. This is the first time in all of official history that there is art of Orkira and she's not smiling.
Oh.
If you want something
Ah.
special, got to go into the game. And then Trevor, it's your turn.
Hey, I'm Trevor Bettis. I'm the content designer and writer for Isle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. And you can find me, if you haven't already, go check out Writing About Dragons and Shit. It's me, Aaron, B-Dave, talking about writing and stuff. And I'm going to be recording it in a couple hours, so you go listen to it tomorrow.
Tell Aaron and B-Dave we said hi.
Will do.
Okay, so with that, we'll be back next week for another session of Path Arcana, but stay tuned in 2 weeks from now where we will be back with the pre-recorded episode of this episode that kind of exists, where we shall
But not
maybe
really.
release one day as a dub or for charity or for some special event. All right, until then, bye-bye.
Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey. It's a brand new day.